In this
हॅलो, गुड मॉर्निंग एव्हरीवन. लास्ट लेक्चरला आपण थर्ड युनिट मधलं वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग आणि स्प्रेडशीट बघितलेलं. ते आता आपण प्रॅक्टिकलच बघतोय. वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग गेल्या लेक्चरला त्याचे व्हिडिओज बघितले. सगळे इझी आहेत. MS एक्सेल आणि पॉवर पॉइंट प्रेझेंटेशन आणि डाटाबेस म्हणजे ऍक्सेस, MS ऍक्सेस हे थर्ड टॉपिक मधले 3 पॉइंट राहिलेत. आज 3-4 पॉइंट कव्हर करूया आपण. ओके, जस्ट बेसिक सांगते, त्याचे व्हिडिओ पण मी दाखवेन, पण कसं तुम्हाला डेली तुम्ही यूज करताय तरी मी एकदा तुम्हाला 5 मिनिटात सांगेन. स्टार्ट बटन मध्ये जायचं, सगळ्यांना दिसतंय? वेट, शेअर करते. हा, लेफ्ट साइडला स्टार्ट बटन मध्ये जायचं. MS ऑफिस, तुमच्यात काय येणार, ऑल प्रोग्रामिंग वगैरे येईल. मायक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस मध्ये हे सगळे आहेत. मायक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल 2007, आपल्याला कुठले कुठले आहेत, पॉवर पॉइंट प्रेझेंटेशन आणि MS एक्सेल झालं, पॉवर पॉइंट झालं, वर्ड झालं. लास्ट पॉइंट आहे ते MS इथे दिसतंय, मायक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस एक्सेस 2007, म्हणजे त्याला डाटाबेस म्हणतात. ते ऍक्च्युअली आपण कॅल्क्युलेशन म्हणजे सेव्हिंग अपलोडिंग साठी करतोय. पण आता फर्स्ट चालू करूया आपण MS एक्सेल. तुम्हाला एक्सेल कुठं वर्ड झालं, हा, मायक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस एक्सेल 2007. हा पेज ओपन झालेला आहे. हे जस्ट फॉर्म्युला वगैरे आहे, हे बाकीचे सेम आहेत. वर्ड मध्ये कसं आहे तसं टेबल, चार्ट, फाउंड, मर्ज कसं करायचं वगैरे. इन्सर्ट मध्ये पण तेच आहे, क्लिप आर्ट, टेबल. आपल्याला फक्त आता फॉर्म्युला साठी हे बघायचंय. MS एक्सेल बेसिक मध्ये सांगते. तुम्हाला कॅल्क्युलेशन फॉर्म्युला ऍड वगैरे कसं करायचं असेल तर सिरियल नंबर असेल तुमचा, काहीतरी नेम असेल, तुमच्या ISC 1 मार्क्स असतील, तुमचे पेपर पण दाखवायचे. उद्या मी डिस्प्ले करेन, सगळ्या सब्जेक्टचे राहिलेत म्हणून मी थांबलेले. ISC 2 आणि हे ऍव्हरेज किंवा टोटल ऍव्हरेज पकडा. हे ओके. सिरियल नंबर काय असेल, 1 2 3 काहीतरी. नेम असेल ABC. ओके, CD. हे असं आहे. ISC 1 मार्क 30 पैकी तुम्हाला पडलेत 25. ISC 2 25 मार्क्स. दोन्हीचे ऍव्हरेज कसं करायचे, फॉर्म्युला आहेत. ओके, हे कसे आहेत, सिरियल नंबर आहे. तिथे दिसतंय ना तुम्हाला स्क्रोल मध्ये 1 2 3 4 5 6. इथे माझा बार दिसतोय का तुम्हाला? आणि हे वरचे आहेत टॉपवरचा ABCD, हे टॅब दिसतोय का, EFGHY वरचे साईड?
येस मॅम.
येस मॅम.
काय करायचं, फॉर्म्युला कसं करायचं, इज इक्वल टू, सगळ्याला सेमच आहे, डायरेक्ट कसं ते पण सांगेन. इज इक्वल टू ब्रॅकेट मध्ये इथे कुठे आहे 25 ISC 1 मार्क कुठे आहे, D मध्ये. D4 प्लस कुठे आहे, E आहे. D आणि E, ISC 2 मार्क E4 ब्रॅकेट कम्प्लीट. फक्त सिलेक्ट करायचं, डिवायडेड बाय 2 आणि एंटर करायचे. ऍव्हरेज झाले. तसेच हे स्क्रोल करत जायचं, खाली ऑटोमॅटिक अपलोड होतं ऑटोमॅटिकली. किती इथे पुढे मार्क असतील 26, इथे असतील 24, त्याचे काय असतील ऍव्हरेज वगैरे येणार. इथं 20 आणि इथं 15. एंटर करायचं फक्त, जे काय असेल ऍव्हरेज ऑटोमॅटिक. हे 4 काय आहे तर हे सिरियल इथं दिसतंय ना, 1 2 3 4. D म्हणजे हा वरचा कॉलमचा आणि 4 म्हणजे इकडचा रो आणि कॉलम, असं सिलेक्ट डायरेक्ट. आणि मायनस वगैरे तुम्हाला कॅल्क्युलेशन वगैरे करायचं असेल तर पण ह्यात करू शकता. इज इक्वल टू काय असेल तुमचं कॅल्क्युलेशन, 50 मध्ये 150 मायनस 50 एंटर. म्हणजे ह्याच्यावर तुम्ही कुठलंही कॅल्क्युलेशन करू शकता स्प्रेडशीट मध्ये. फक्त कॅल्क्युलेशन साठी हा यूज करतोय आपण. हाच ऑनलाईनला मी दाखवेन. समजा हा माझा मेल आहे. मेल मध्ये इथे 6 डॉट दिसतात. सगळ्यांना दिसते? राईट क्लिकला इथे आहेत बघा, अकाउंट, जीमेल, ड्राईव्ह, डॉक्युमेंट्स, ओके, आणि शीट्स मध्ये जायचं. ह्यामध्येच तुमचे ऑटोमॅटिक आम्हाला हे मिळतात रिझल्ट. तुमचे ISC चे मार्क्स आहेत. ब्लँक मध्ये जायचं. हा तुम्हाला लिंक सेंड कोणाला करायचं असेल तर ऑनलाईन सांगते. स्प्रेडशीट म्हणतात ह्याला. हे ऑनलाईन आहे. ह्यामध्ये टायटल टाकायचं ISC 1. तुम्हाला उद्या हे असं ऑटोमॅटिक अपडेट होतात. पण हे असेल. ह्यामध्ये पण मगाशी सारखं सांगितलेलं सिरियल नंबर, नेम काय असेल, हे जे काय असेल तुमचे मार्क्स 1 2 3 काय असेल हे सगळं ऑटोमॅटिक इथं शेअर मध्ये जायचं. तेच आहे सगळं, फक्त ऑनलाईन आहे. शेअर इथं ग्रीन कलर मध्ये दिसते तुम्हाला. आता मला कोणाला पाठवायचं असेल, आता इथे येतात बघा, विद्या क्षीरसागर मॅडम, पवार सर, गोसावी सर, माणिक सर, असे तुमच्याकडे मेल शेअर सेव्ह असतील तर तुम्ही त्यांना, फक्त त्यांनाच पाठवायचं असेल तर तुम्ही हे शेअर करू शकता. हे ऑटोमॅटिक अपडेट राहते. आता तुमच्या मेलमध्ये हे बघा, इथं टायटल काय ISC 1 मार्क्स. आता मी क्लोज करते, परत ह्यात जाते, शीट्स मध्ये जाते. इथे दिसतंय बघा आत्ताच, इथे बघा फर्स्ट नंबर ISC 1. म्हणजे हे ऑनलाईन, पण एक्सेल मध्ये तसं करता येत नाही. एक्सेल मध्ये ऑनलाईन नाहीये, म्हणजे ऑनलाईन तुम्ही पाठवू शकत नाहीये. ओके, हे बेसिक आहे, सगळ्यांनाच माहिती. आणि सेकंड प्रेझेंटेशन, त्यातच जायचं. स्टार्ट मायक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस मध्ये वर्ड, एक्सेल प्रेझेंटेशन आणि लिबर ऑफिस म्हणजे त्याच्यामध्ये डाटाबेस, म्हणजे ते ऍक्सिस वगैरे आहे ना, आउटलुक वगैरे. पॉवर पॉइंट प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये जायचं. सगळ्यांनी तुम्ही प्रोजेक्ट साठी वगैरे यूज करताच, आम्ही PPT साठी करतोय. ओपन केल्यावर न्यू स्लाइड, ब्लँक, तुम्हाला कसं हवंय तसं. त्यामध्ये तुमचं काय असेल, टायटल असेल, SY BTech काय असेल, कॅपिटल मध्ये SY BTech, आणि तुमचं काय असेल ICT PR. हा तुमचा हा टायटल साठी आहे. ब्लँक हवा असेल तुम्हाला, फक्त ब्लँक, त्याच्यासाठी पिक्चर्स किंवा काय अपलोड करायचे असतील, PPT चार्ट्स वगैरे, तर तुम्ही ब्लँक घेऊ शकता. ओपन मध्ये जायचं, न्यू मध्ये ब्लँक प्रेझेंटेशन क्रिएट, म्हणजे असं येते. त्यामध्ये पण टाइप्स आहेत असे, टायटल, स्लाइड, टायटल, कंटेंट, सेक्शन, कसं आहे तसं तुम्हाला कुठल्या ह्याच्यात आवडतं ते सेक्शन घेऊ शकता. आणि बाकीचे सेम आहेत, तेच आहेत. जे वर्ड मध्ये, जे एक्सेल मध्ये, ते पण प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये आहे. तुम्ही पिक्चर्स ऍड करू शकता ह्यामध्ये. तुम्हाला कुठलं पिक्चर्स हे करायचं असेल तर ह्यामध्ये नाही, आता PPT मध्ये. तर डिझाईन मध्ये जायचं. मेन हाच पॉइंट आहे आपल्याला प्रेझेंटेशन साठी. जे आपलं कॉन्फरन्स किंवा हाय ह्याच्यातले असतात ते चांगले दिसण्यासाठी आपण प्रेझेंटेशन सिलेक्ट करतो. पेजेस कुठले, एवढं म्हणजे काय म्हणतात, कलरिंग वगैरे असलं कलर घेत नाही प्रेझेंटेशनला आपण, किंवा असले ब्लँक वगैरे घेत नाहीये. जेव्हा मोठे मोठे कॉन्फरन्सच्या वेळेस आपण प्रेझेंटेशन करतो तेव्हा सिम्पल मध्येच कुठलं तुम्हाला हवंय तुमच्या म्हणजे साधं ह्याच्यामध्ये ब्लँक, हाफ साइड कलरिंग, त्यामध्येच आपण ठेवतोय. हा डिझाईन मधले प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये PPTs आहेत. ओके, तोच आहे. मी तुम्हाला कसं हे करायचं ते व्हिडिओज दाखवते. 5-5 मिनिटाचंच आहे, तुम्हाला माहिती आहे तरी दाखवूया. बेटा स्प्रेडशीट मधले हे आता जे सांगितलं त्याचंच आहे.
In this
तरी
video, we
एकदा
are going to
बघून.
see the basic formulas like add, divide, multiply, subtract, and also the preference given for these operations. Let's see those one by one. On the screen, if you see, I have added
मॅथमॅटिकल कॅल्क्युलेशन साठी फॉर्म्युला, फंक्शन्स वगैरे लागतात, त्यासाठी ते यूज आहे.
multiplication. I have written some dummy numbers, let's say 20, 10. How do I add two numbers, subtract, divide? Let's see those one by one. So I'll keep my cursor here for addition. I'll press equal to any formula, any function, it starts with a equal to sign. So I'll just type here equal to, I'll use my arrow key, first cell plus second cell. For addition, I'll use this operator as plus, enter. So I got the answer as 30, which is simple and basic. Next, I'll go for subtract. Now I want to subtract two numbers. So I'll put the sign as equal to first cell number, that is the bigger number, minus smaller number, and I'll get the answer as 10, which is simple. Again, the answer is correct. Suppose I want to use the other one. I want to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. Suppose I want to subtract a bigger number from the smaller number. So I'll type here equal to. So I'll type here equal to 10, that is the smaller number, minus from this number. So I'll press enter. So I've got as minus 10. So that is a negative number. So the answer is coming as minus 10, which is absolutely correct. Next we have, if I want to divide, equal to 20 divide by, that's a divide sign, and divide by 10. I've got the answer as 2. That's correct. Next I have 20 multiplied by 10. So I'll use the operator as multiplication, equal to first cell multiplied by second cell. So the answer which is expected is now 200. The moment I press enter, you can see the answer is 200. One small tip I would like to tell you here. When you use a formula or a function, you see the E2 is in the blue color, whereas E3 is in the red color. The blue color sign, it says the blue color cell is selected. Red color, it resembles to the second cell which is selected. So if there are 10 to 20 different cells and you've selected, every cell will have a unique color. So you don't have to worry. You can find out where the problem is going on and press enter. Next we have something known as board mass. So now I'll just show an example and what exactly is a board mass with this example. This is the mobile phone cost calculator. A company, let's say some company is offering me some voice call. I use voice call. The free minutes included for me in my pack is 120 minutes, but estimated I use mostly more than that. It is estimated minutes is 200 in a month. If I use more than 120 minutes, I'll get a cost of $2 per minute. Okay, so that is the scenario given here. Next scenario is for the SMS. I get 100 SMS free in a month, but I usually use a lot, that is 300 SMS in a month. If I use more than the free SMS, what is the charge I've got for per SMS is $1. So let's see how do I calculate. The calculation I'll be doing here for the extra voice of cost, I'll be getting it. So I'll use a formula here as equal to estimated minus the free minutes included. So I should get the answer as 80, and that 80 I should get multiplied with the $2 per minute. So when I multiply with it, I'm expecting answer as 200 minus 120, that is 80. 80 multiplied by $2, that is 160. So when I press enter, now you can see there's an answer something different, which is showing us 40 in brackets, $40. That means it's a negative answer. So now $40, what is the reason behind it is, if I go back to the function and if you see here h5 minus h4 multiplied by h6. So now let's see, try to find out what is the problem given here. What it has done is, it has multiplied by h4 cell multiplied by h6. So h4 is multiplied by h6, that means 120 is multiplied by $2, that is 240. Now that 240, h5 minus 240. So h5 minus 240 means 200 minus 240, which is minus 40. So the answer which I've got was minus $40. So now how do I overcome this problem here itself? So if you see carefully, these are the orders. On the right hand side I have written as board mass. What does board mass is full form of? That is bracket, and you can see the symbol here. Second is the order, or you can say as exponential. Some people call it as divide, multiply, addition, subtraction. So when you have all these operators in a cell, the preference is given in this order. So first is bracket. So in this cell, if you see, there's a multiplication sign, and here the multiplication sign is given the first preference as compared to the subtraction. So therefore what has to be done is, now in this cell I'll just use a separate thing. I'll put this h5 minus h4, that has to be given as first preference. So what I'll do is, I'll put this h5 minus h4 into this bracket. So you can see here, I'll put into this bracket. Yeah, that's it. So I've entered into a bracket. Now the expected answer I'm expecting is, like, this is 80 multiplied by $2, that is 160. So when I press enter, now you can see $160. So the answer is absolutely correct here. Similarly, let's try for one more option here. Estimated SMS is 300. I get free 100 SMS, and per dollar I'm charged for any SMS. So I'll type here equal to estimated brackets estimated minus free SMS, and I've put into bracket because that will be given as the first option. Now I'll multiply that entire thing with $1. So now if you see clearly, I have used extra 200 SMS in a month. Per SMS I have been charged $1. So if I see here, I'll be getting a charge of almost $200 when I press enter. So I'm getting the answer as $200. So you keep in mind, whenever you are using all these operators in one cell, the first preference is given to this brackets: exponential, division, multiplication, and then addition, subtraction. So that is all about the BODMAS here. If you see, now in this video we have seen now how do we add, subtract, divide.
सेकंड आहे हाऊ टू यूज पॉवरपॉइंट प्रेझेंटेशन.
You open
आपण बेसिक आता सांगितलं
Microsoft Office PowerPoint 2007. You'll see a major change to the look of it in the top portion of the window. A wide band with groups of commands has replaced the earlier design of menus and toolbars. The wide band is called the ribbon, and it's something like a dashboard. It displays the commands you need and keeps them in front of you. On the ribbon, the commands you use the most are organized on a tab called the Home tab. These commands support the things you do most frequently. For example, copy and paste, add slides, make formatting changes to text, apply list formatting, work with shapes, and find and replace text. Clearly, though, all the commands you need as you create a presentation won't fit onto one tab. So, along with the Home tab, there are others. Each tab has commands that support a type of work. So, click the Insert tab to add a table, picture, shape, diagram, or chart to a slide, as well as a hyperlink, text box, header or footer, and other things. What about the slide's background design and color scheme? Click the Design tab, where you find Design Themes. When you point to a theme, you see its preview on the slide. Click the More button to see the full gallery. Customize the theme if you want to by choosing different theme colors, fonts, or a background. To animate text, such as this title, click the Animations tab and apply an effect such as fade or wipe. Note that you get a preview of the effect just by pointing at it. For more control over animation effects, use the range of options in Custom Animation. Transition effects are plentiful too. Hover to see an effects preview. The Slideshow tab, create timings for the show or record narration for it. Click Set up Slideshow for other options. On the Review tab, you'll find the Spelling Checker, Research Service, and Reviewing features. Want to comment about your text? Click New Comment to insert a comment. And now, all the views you're used to seeing are laid out in front of you on the View tab. By the way, the buttons to switch views are still available too on the lower right part of the window. Now, let me tell you about other types of tabs. These appear on the ribbon only to support certain tasks. For instance, when you click a shape or text placeholder, you have a tab available with formatting commands just for the shape or placeholder. This type of tab is called a contextual tab. When you place the cursor outside the placeholder or shape, the tab disappears from view. You'll see more of these as you work with PowerPoint 2007. Now, I'll open another presentation I'm working on and do more with it. How do I open it? By clicking this, called the Microsoft Office button. Notice here many of the commands that were on the old File menu, plus others. On the right is the list of recently used files. I want the company overview, so I click it. The Home tab is displayed, ready for use if I want to add more slides and text. I'll type the company name and then make it bold. Nothing new about that. Bold, as I'd expect, is available right here with other formatting buttons. On slide 2, I'd like to add one more item to the list. How do I make room for it? First, I'll select the placeholder around the text. Then I'll decrease the space between lines. Line spacing is right here, in the paragraph group. That's nice. This command used to take more mouse clicks to find. Now I can type another item comfortably. I need to add a new slide. Here's what I want. Click the arrow and I get choices for a slide layout. I'll be creating an org chart, so I'll pick this slide layout, which lets me insert a graphic. There's the new slide. The icons in this layout allow me to insert something directly by clicking one of them. Org chart layouts are part of the new Smart Art graphics, I'll click the icon for SmartArt Graphics to see a selection of graphic layouts for inserting. The types on the left help me find what I want. How about hierarchy? Several layouts that show a hierarchy are displayed. This seems like a good one. I'll double-click it to put it on the slide. A text pane appears. You can use this for typing and organizing text. I'll start with our CEO. Text that I type in this box fills the graphic and follows its hierarchy. The name typed into the list item at the top goes in the first shape in the graphic, and subordinate names go under it. I'll close this for now by clicking here. I'd like to work on the look of this graphic a little. On the ribbon, I see one of those colored tabs. These tabs are part of SmartArt tools, and they help you work with all SmartArt graphics. Here on the Design tab are other styles available for the graphic. I've now given the org chart a style that rounds or bevels the top shapes. I like that. And because the org chart is no longer selected, the colored tabs I just used are hidden. And now the Home tab is redisplayed. Another way to insert a SmartArt graphic is to click SmartArt on the Insert tab. Let's pause for a second here to look at a small collection of buttons. This is the Quick Access toolbar. Use it for frequent actions, like saving your work or undoing something. You can add other buttons to this toolbar and put it on its own row, below the ribbon. Back to the presentation. What about a look and colors for the whole show? Let's go to the Design tab. Use themes to design the slides. Earlier, you saw that the theme showed a preview when you pointed to it, giving you a handy clue about how it would look when applied to the slide. The theme colors apply to the SmartArt graphic too. I like this one. Text in the presentation. When I point to a combination of fonts, the font's showing before I print. For these options, click the Microsoft Office button. Point to Print, and you'll see Print Preview. You get the print choices you had in earlier versions, which work the same as before. Now, I want to save my presentation. Easy. Click Save on the Quick Access toolbar. But here's something to note. PowerPoint 2007 presentations are saved in a new format. To find out what you need to know about the new file format, click the link to the training course in the article associated with this demo.
लास्ट पॉइंट आहे डाटाबेस म्हणजे ऍक्सिस. त्यामधलं स्टार्ट मध्ये गेल्यावर स्टार्ट मध्ये जायचं. मगाशी सर MS ऑफिस, त्यामध्ये इथे आहे मायक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस ऍक्सिस 2000. ब्लँक डाटाबेस, इथे फाईल नेम विचारतो राईट साइडला, जे काय आहे क्रिएट फाईल. टेबल, न्यू फील्ड मध्ये काय असेल टेबल, किती पाहिजे ते टेबल क्रिएट करायचे. मेन डाटाबेस म्हणजे काय, व्हॉट इज डाटाबेस इन ऍक्सिस? Database store information about people, product, order, or anything else. Okay, unless it has been specifically designed to use data or code from another source. And Access database, okay, stores tables in single file along with other objects such as forms, report, macros and models. हे साधं अपडेटिंग असेल, अपडेटिंग क्वेरी वगैरे असेल, यामध्ये करू शकतो आपण. ओके, आणि डाटाबेस ऍक्सेस आणि डाटाबेस मध्ये काय, व्हॉट इज डाटाबेस? डाटाबेस इज अन ऑर्गनाइज्ड कलेक्शन ऑफ स्ट्रक्चरल इन्फॉर्मेशन or data typically stored electronically in computer system. Okay, the data can then easily accessed, managed, modified, updated, controlled and organized. Most database use structured query language, means SQL, structural query language म्हणतात, for writing and query data. Okay, ह्याच्यामध्ये पण त्या आता क्रिएट अकाउंट केल्यावर हे डाटा आपण करू शकतो. त्याचा पण एक साधा एक व्हिडिओ दाखवेन मी, पण जास्त यूज करत नाही हे आपण, तरी तुम्हाला दाखवेन. ट्युटोरियल.
Hello guys, from this video I will be starting a new video series.
आता दाखवलं तोच आहे, हाऊ टू क्रिएट डाटाबेस, इन्सर्ट टेबल, Okay, updating queries
on
ते बघा.
Access database tutorial for beginners. And in this first tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create a new database and how you can create tables inside your database and how you can give
थर्ड टॉपिक मधला लास्ट पॉइंट आहे हा. आणि फोर्थ मधला लाटेक सॉफ्टवेअर आहे, ते आपण प्रोजेक्ट साठी बी किंवा एमटेक आपण वापरतोय. त्याचा पण एक व्हिडिओ बघूया आणि स्टॉप करूया. हा व्हिडिओ आहे 10-15 मिनिटाचा.
columns to the tables and how you can insert data to the tables. And I will be creating these videos on Access
स्टेप्स
2007,
बघून घ्या
but if
कसे
you are
कसे
using
ते क्रिएट करतात
Access
आपण.
2010 or Access 2013 also, you can follow these videos because there is not much difference in those two versions of Access. So let's get started. First of all, we need to create a database. And what is a database? A database is an organized collection of data, right? So let's create a database in Access. Now, if you have already installed Access and you don't know how you can start Access, you can just go to your start button and search for Access here. And you will see somewhere in the search result Microsoft Office Access and the version you have. Just open it and it will open this for you, Microsoft Access. Now search for the option called blank database. We are going to create a blank database. There are several templates also for the databases which you can choose, but I'm going to teach you the basics. So we will start with the blank database. So just search for the option called blank database, which is this, and in here uh, on the right bottom side you will be able to see this file name. So this is the name of the database you are going to give. Okay, so here you need to give the name of the database. So for example, I want to create a database of the employee information. So I will give the name to the database as employee info database. Okay, employee info. So I will be creating this database and I will insert some table in my employee information database or employee info database, and you can save your database in the specified location. By default it will save your database in your documents folder, but you can change this default location by just clicking this button, and you can just change the location. For example, I will create a new folder here and I will name it as Access database. Okay, so once again Access database. Okay, and inside this folder I'm going to save my employee info database. Okay, so I will click OK, and then I will click this button called create. And once you click this button, you will be presented with this screen, and here we will be creating the tables, we will be creating the columns in the table, and we can insert even the data into the table. Now whenever you create a table, for example this is default table which Access has created for us, but for example you click this button and you click this button without saving it, then this will not be saved inside your database. So I click this cancel button and now you have the blank perspective. Yeah, so because we haven't saved this table, it will not be included in your database. Now let's create a new table in the employee info database. For that, you will see here some tabs, right? And so these are called tabs. And in here, there is a toolbar, and you can choose any tool to create or do different stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I will go to this create tab, and I will choose a table. And when I choose this table, it will create a table for us. But first of all, before creating a table, we want to design our table first, right? So I will just click this button, design table, and you will be presented with this perspective. And in here, this is the field name, data type, and description. Field name is the title of your column of the table, and the data type is the form in which your columns will take the input. I will describe this data type in detail when I create some column. And the description, by the name, you know, if you want to give the description to your column, you can give it here. So let's get started. So for example, I want to create a table called employee name, employee surname, phone number, country, city, whatever you. This table will contain EID, which means employee ID, and the data type of this employee ID will be a number, right? Employee ID can be a number, or it's better to give it auto number. What auto number does is it will increment automatically, and you don't need to increment it by yourself. I will show the demonstration and you will understand. So this means the data type is the form in which your column will take the input. So this employee ID will take input in the form of number, right? Many different data types here. And it's not necessary that you will like name whatever. Well, the name of the for first name. Names are the strings of words, right? So for word, so this will be our text data type. Now the last name will also be a text, right? DOB, which stands for date of birth. So I can give the description here. DOB stands for date of birth, right? And date of birth is a date. So data type will be date time here. Now you can do certain things with your data type. So when you select this row here, which is DOB, you will be able to see this general property fields here. And the first field here is the format in which you want to show the date. Okay, so there are different format you can show your date. You can show a date like 19 minus 06 minus 2007, and the time also. You can show this like this 19 and the full month name in text, and then the year 2007, or you can have different format. So for example, I choose this format called medium date. Okay, now there is a way in which you can also input the value, which is called input mask. Okay, so for example, I want to input the value in the form, in some form. Just select this and just click this three dot button, and you need to save your table first for that. So I will say yes, and I will give the name of my table here. Okay, so I will say my table name is employee data. Okay, and I have input mask wizard, and in here I can same input employees, or your company is located in a specific country, for example USA. Then what you can do is you can give a default value to a column also. So for example, I choose this country row or column here and USA, right? And I will add some more columns here, but let's see how our table looks like till now. So you can go to this view button here and just click it, and it will ask you to save the changes. You say yes, and you are now in the view of the table. So you can see here we have EID, name, last name, date of birth, and the country column has default value USA, which we have given default value. Now there is a concept called primary key. So if you don't, if you have noticed that this in EID has this small key symbol before it, it's not necessary that you need to give only this to your this key to your uh, column, but what this primary key does is it is a row, or it is a column which uniquely identifies your row data. Okay, because each employee ID will be different or unique in itself. Two employee ID cannot be same, and that's the primary purpose of primary key. So primary key is a identifier which is unique in itself. Okay, so it's primary key by just clicking this button once again. You see here now there is no primary key. You can give the primary key to any column, for example this one, or you can change it to this one once again. But try choosing the primary key which is unique, so which contains the unique data, and you will be able to differentiate your row data on the basis of this primary key. So two primary key cannot be same, okay, as a rule of thumb. Okay, now we will save this and we will go to the view. Okay, and when you see here, because it's auto increment, when I click here in this first name column and I enter some value, for example Mark, this is auto generated because you you see here it's auto number, so it is automatically generated even if you don't give any value to it. Okay, so it has taken the value 1. Last name, for example some name. Date of birth, you see here it takes the input in, and the default value design section value. So naturally you will think that if it's a telephone number, you can enter the numerical value. Go the, for example, password, phone number, or you can create your already exist, and then I can give, just click your user can enter the must and a bracket. So you are done, just close. I can add one more